All right, let's dive in. Today, we're heading straight into one of the biggest mysteries there is, a place where science and, well, spirituality seem to be saying the same thing. We're going to explore this wild idea that everything we see, everything we know, might just collapse into a single tiny point, and at the same time, emerge from absolute total nothingness.
I mean, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? Before the planets, before the stars, before even the first little flicker of light, where did it all come from? To even get close to an answer, we've got to look at two incredibly powerful concepts. One is about infinite density, and the other is about infinite emptiness. And as you're about to see, they might be a lot more connected than you think.
So our first stop on this journey is a concept from cosmology that really pushes our brains to the absolute limit. We're talking about the singularity.
So what is a singularity? Well, in cosmology, it's basically the point where reality as we understand it completely and utterly breaks down. Just try to imagine a place where the basic rules we count on, gravity, time, even space itself, they stop having any meaning. That's a singularity.
The conditions here are, well, they're almost impossible to imagine. We're talking about a state of total, absolute compression, where space and time literally fold in on themselves. The center of a black hole, that's the perfect example. It's a gravitational singularity where reality as we know it is just crushed right out of existence.
And this is where it gets truly mind-bending. The origin of our entire vast, sprawling universe, all 13.8 billion years of it, all the stars, all the galaxies, it all started from this one point of absolute compression. The whole cosmos, packed into a space smaller than a single atom.
You know, this is where science starts to sound a little bit mystical. Because think about it. If all matter, all energy, all information collapses down into one indivisible point, does that mean that all separation is just an illusion? Does everything just become one unified whole? Hold that thought, because we're going to need it for our next concept. Okay, so now let's flip this on its head and look at that idea of unity from the complete opposite direction, the concept of nothingness. In our everyday language, nothing just sounds empty, right? A void. But in both philosophy and physics, this void is actually incredibly powerful.
So nothingness, or as it's called in Buddhist philosophy, shunyata, it isn't really about absence. It's all about potential. It's the state before anything is created, the fertile ground where all form comes from. It's not zero. It's the possibility of literally everything.
Think of it like this. Nothingness is that pregnant pause that holds all the potential. It's the totally empty canvas that makes the painting possible. It's the silence that allows you to hear the music. It's that tiny pause just before you take your next breath. It's the fundamental background of all creation. And you know, this isn't just a spiritual thing. Quantum physics actually hints at this too. It suggests that the vacuum of space isn't really empty. It's this buzzing, energetic field where particles and antiparticles are constantly popping in and out of existence. So in both worlds, science and spirituality, nothingness is really seen as this fertile womb of creation.
Okay, so here we are. We've got these two massive ideas, the infinite density of the singularity on one hand, and the infinite potential of nothingness on the other. On the surface, I mean, they seem like total polar opposites, but let's look a little deeper. At first glance, the contrast is pretty stark, right? One is this point of total collapse, a concentration of everything. The other is a space of total openness, the potential for everything. But is that really the whole story? This is where the lines start to get really blurry. Just look at what they have in common. They both represent a state where form, boundaries, and even time and space just dissolve. They are both these realms that exist before the separation of things, before the duality of you and me, up and down, that we experience every single day.
So, maybe they're not opposites at all. Maybe singularity and nothingness are just two different languages trying to describe the exact same ultimate truth, that all existence, everything that has a form,
arises from a state of formless unified potential. The one comes from the none.
I know, this stuff can kind of bend your brain a little. So to help us wrap our heads around it more intuitively, let's use a couple of simple but really powerful metaphors.
First up, let's think about the ocean and a single wave. A wave, it has a clear form, it has an identity, it has a lifespan. But where does it really come from? And where does it go?
You see, the wave is just a temporary expression of the ocean's energy. That's our existence. But its true nature, its source, and where it eventually returns, that's the vast, formless ocean itself. That's the nothingness. For just a moment, it has a separate form, and then it just merges right back into the whole.
Or how about this one? A seed. It's just this tiny point, looks dormant, almost empty. But inside, it contains the complete blueprint for a gigantic, complex tree. The seed is kind of like a singularity, a point of incredible density that's holding all the potential that's going to unfold from the nothingness that's packed inside it.
So what? Why does any of this cosmic stuff actually matter? What can these huge abstract ideas teach us about our own lives? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot. They offer some pretty profound guidance.
These aren't just theories, they're like blueprints for living. The universe came from nothingness, which teaches us to let go and make space for new things to come into our lives. The Big Bang was a singularity of immense pressure, which shows us that we should embrace pressure because our struggles can lead to transformation. Just as everything began as one, we have to remember oneness. And from that, we can learn to value silence as a source of real wisdom, and to cherish the present, because all forms, including us, are beautifully temporary.
Why do we do that? Why do we instinctively run away from emptiness? We pack our lives with noise, with constant activity, anything to avoid those quiet spaces. I think we fear the void because we mistake it for annihilation, for loss, for the end.
But what if we've got that all wrong? What if we just reframed it? What if the void isn't an ending at all, but a chance for renewal? What if that emptiness is what actually gives us clarity? What if the stillness we run from is really the source of true awareness and peace? The rhythm of existence is this constant, incredible dance between form and formlessness, between something and nothing. By embracing those silent, potential-filled spaces in our lives, we're not running from life at all. We're actually embracing its very essence.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The entire cosmos, everything you see, emerged from a state of pure potential. And every single one of us has access to our own inner space, our own quiet void. The question is, what will you create from yours?